Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely fundamental. You. Usually, human biology feels overwhelmingly complex, right? We're talking textbooks thick enough to be doorstops, endless medical jargon, and those incredibly intricate diagrams. But what if we just stripped all of that away? Today, we're exploring the absolute core of human biology, using a wonderfully direct, handwritten cheat sheet. Let's get right into it. Take a look at our source material here. It's literally a handwritten blueprint. No distracting graphics, no overwhelming medical terminology to trip us up, just pen, paper, and exactly what keeps us alive and ticking day in and day out. It's honestly a fantastic reminder of how even the most complex machine, the human body, can be beautifully simplified for focused learning. It really grounds the whole topic, doesn't it?
And as we read through this page, it all boils down to one magic number, 11. Right at the top, the notes state, these are 11 body systems present in our body. And, well, that's it. Just think about that for a second. Everything you are, every single function your body is doing right now as you listen to me, is contained within just 11 systems. Boiling human existence down to 11 categories, that's just brilliantly simple.
Now, rather than just reading a dry list from 1 to 11, we're going to group these into a logical thematic journey. First, infrastructure and protection. Second, command and communication. Third, engines and maintenance. Fourth, the reproductive system. And finally, number 5, the complete human machine.
All right, let's dive into part 1, infrastructure and protection. Basically, our form and armor.
So, if we think of the body as a machine, this foundational infrastructure relies on 3 specific systems working seamlessly together. They're what give us our shape, our ability to move through the world, and our defense against the outside environment. This is the essential hardware, guys. Without these 3 systems, the rest of the machine wouldn't have a place to live or, a way to protect itself.
First up on our journey is the skeletal system. Our handwritten guide gives us a perfectly direct definition. It literally calls it the study about bones in their structure. That rigid internal framework gives our machine its physical integrity. It's the scaffolding that everything else hangs on. Without it, we'd essentially just be a puddle on the floor.
Built right on top of that framework is the muscular system. The author of our notes keeps it remarkably simple, defining it as the study about muscles. It's the perfect companion to the skeleton because those muscles are exactly what allow that bony framework to actually move. They're the dynamic pulleys and levers bringing the whole scaffolding to life.
And wrapping up our physical build is the integumentary system. The notes describe this as the study about skin, hair, and nails. This is the protective outer layer encompassing our entire machine. It safely houses all the other systems we're about to talk about, acting as a crucial physical barrier against the outside world. It is, quite literally, our armor.
But how does this body actually communicate and give orders? Well, that brings us to part 2, command and communication, how the body dictates.
This brings us to a really fascinating comparison between our 2 control centers. According to the notes, we have a fast neural network, the nervous system, and a chemical network, the endocrine system. These 2 work in tandem, but they operate in completely different ways to dictate how the machine runs. Think of one as a lightning-fast electrical grid and the other as a slow, deliberate chemical messaging service. First is the nervous system. This handles the fast, hardwired commands. Our notes define it clearly as the study about neuron, brain, spinal cord. This is your primary control center, sending rapid, localized electrical signals everywhere. Like when you touch a hot stove and instantly pull your hand away, that's this high-speed neural network in action, keeping the machine safe in real time. In brilliant contrast, we have the endocrine system. This one manages the slower, chemical signals, studying the different types of hormones present in our body. It's a totally different kind of communication network. Instead of instant electrical impulses, it secretes hormones into the bloodstream to create widespread, longer-lasting changes, like regulating your energy or your growth. It's absolutely vital for keeping the whole machine balanced.
All right, let's move on to part 3, engines and maintenance, how the machine is fueled and cleaned.
This is actually our largest grouping, covering all the crucial flow systems: cardiovascular, respiratory, digestive, urinary, and lymphatic. These are the dynamic systems that keep inputs coming in, energy flowing throughout the infrastructure we just built, and waste going out. It's a massive, continuous cycle that takes incredible coordination to keep running smoothly.
The primary transport network for all this is the cardiovascular system.
The author defines it super succinctly as the study about heart, blood, and blood vessels. This is the literal engine, guys. It pumps life-sustaining fluid, delivering nutrients and clearing out debris to every single corner of our physical build. Without this central pump, nothing else gets what it needs.
But to actually supply oxygen to that blood, we rely on the respiratory system. Again, the notes are wonderfully direct, defining it simply as the study about respiration. It's the intake of air, pure and simple. It oxygenates the blood that the cardiovascular system is pumping around, making sure our cells have the breath of life to do their jobs.
Now, for actual fuel, the digestive system comes into play. The handwritten notes tell us this is the study about digestion and relative organs. This is how the machine processes raw materials, the food we eat, breaking them down into usable energy to keep those powerful internal engines running at full capacity. Of course, to balance out that massive intake of food and air, we need a way to deal with the inevitable byproducts. Enter the urinary system, which handles the excretion of waste production in our body. It acts as the essential cleanup crew, constantly filtering out toxins and excess fluid that would otherwise completely bog the machine down. Finally, for ongoing internal maintenance, we have the incredibly concise lymphatic system. It's straightforwardly defined on the page as the study about lymph. No extra fluff, just the core definition of this vital network, which quietly drains fluids, filters out foreign particles, and acts as a huge part of our immune defense. It keeps the machine internally pristine.
And that brings us to part 4, the reproductive system, the future.
So we've covered how the body builds itself, communicates, and sustains itself. But what about sustaining the entire species? Returning to our original handwritten notes, if we look down at the very bottom of the page, we see the final pivotal item on the list quietly pointing toward the future. The final piece of the puzzle, system number 11, is the reproductive system. Keeping with the theme of absolute clarity, the notes simply define it as the study about reproductive organs. It is the ultimate biological function that ensures the continuation of everything we've just discussed, passing the blueprint of this incredible machine on to the next generation. Which leaves us with part 5, the complete machine, a unified body. The crucial takeaway here is that when you look at that single handwritten page, you realize these definitions don't just exist in isolation. They all sit together because they form a perfectly unified machine working in complete harmony. We aren't just a random collection of 11 parts, we're the sum of a beautifully integrated biological network. So, knowing how these 11 systems constantly hum away under your skin, your cardiovascular system endlessly pumping, your nervous system firing off millions of signals, your integumentary system standing guard as your armor, which one do you think is working the hardest for you